after our lovely reptiles. Now, I've just got Rocco over in the girls' side for a little bit of exercise and a bit of a change of environment. I will be keeping a close eye on him though, because if he gets too close to the girls, he starts being quite aggressive. Now, this is normal, natural aggressive behaviour, but what he does is he rocks his shell back and forth onto the female shell at the side. And it can cause damage to their shells if done too long, and it's just annoying as well. So hopefully he's going to have a bit more one day. We'll probably see Shelley in a minute, but yeah, I'll just keep an eye on him. So we've got 8 different tortoises here at the sanctuary. So we have 5 over in our education building here, and we have 3 over in the far corner of the sanctuary. So the 3 that we have separate are our Indian star tortoises, and they're a little bit more prone to diseases or susceptible to succumbing to diseases, so that's why we can't mix them with other species of tortoises. So we have Shelley there in the corner. So Shelley is a Herman's tortoise, and then we have Rocco. There we go, you've seen it. And then we have Rocco, Matteo, and Toby, who are all spur-thighed tortoises. That's what he does. And then finally we've got Olga, who is our smallest one, and she is a Horsfield tortoise. As I said, it's normal natural behaviour, but obviously the girls can't get away like they can in the wild, so...
Can you smell what's all we're doing?
No,
because you seem to go straight there.
Yeah, he just saw her and he knows where she is now.
He's coming back again. No, he's not.
He's going to be naughty, I'll pop him back. So Matteo and Toby we've had the longest, Rocco and...
Definitely a sprinter.
He is. Rocco and Matteo we've had the longest. We've had him for quite a number of years now. So Rocco, he's actually the oldest. You wouldn't really think about it the way he moves. Anyone want to guess his age?
20?
Okay, no one's actually said old enough yet. So he's around 65 to 70 years old. He is the oldest resident at our sanctuary here. Now these guys, they can even live up to about 100 years old, so he's still got a good number of years left in him. As you can see, his age doesn't slow him down either, especially when it comes to the ladies. He will try anything, believe me. So the others kind of vary in age. So Olga is the youngest. I think she's just under 10 years old. So they do most of their growing in their first 10 years. And then after that they are fully grown. Now a lot of it is to do with their shells, so it's actually quite difficult to have a young tortoise when they're babies, because there's so much importance on how you look after them will determine the rest of their lives. So going back to sort of the 1960s, 70s, tortoises became really, really popular as a pet. They were new, they were exotic, everyone wanted one, and people were told just leave them in your garden, give them a bit of fruit and veg, and that's all they need. They're really easy to look after. Now, unfortunately, that isn't quite the case. So most of those pet tortoises, as I said, they do their first growing in the first 10 years. Most of them wouldn't have lived beyond the age of 10 years. So it's a very, very small proportion of their life, unfortunately, and that's just because people didn't have the knowledge to look after them. So these guys are reptiles, they're cold-blooded, so they can't warm themselves up, they have to learn other things, so a lot of it will be the sun in the wild. They wake up in the morning and they go and find a nice sunny spot to sunbathe, warm their bodies up, and then they're ready for the rest of their day. So obviously there's a reason we don't have native tortoise species in this country. We don't have the climate for it, unfortunately, maybe this summer, but generally we have 2 cold winters and 2 wet winters as well. Now these guys, they can hibernate, so all of our species in our education building all come from countries around the Mediterranean. So they do still get cold winters and they do hibernate. So with these guys in the wild, they'll dig a hole, bury themselves. It protects them from sort of the really cold, harsh weather, all the frost and things, and it protects them from any predators as well. Now they have tried, obviously, do it here, going back to sort of the 70s. But unfortunately we get really, really cold winters. These guys can get frostbite if they get too cold as well, and we do get a lot of rodents, and rodents can actually start eating the tortoises while they're in hibernation. But it's not just about hibernation. So in terms of their day-to-day care, anyone want to guess what they might eat for their dinner? Lettuce, okay. Anything else?
Grass.
Grass, good. good answer. Anything else?
Peas.
Peas. Anything else?
Carrots.
Oh, well,
Cucumber. Okay, well, I'm really glad no one has said fruit. Because actually, tortoises should not have fruit. There's a few tortoises that might eat fruit in the wild. They're South American tortoises. But even then, only a small proportion of their diet is actually made up of fruit. These guys, yes, there's fruit trees in the Mediterranean. But if a fruit drops on the floor, do you think a tortoise is going to be the first animal that gets to that fruit? No, it's going to be something else that gets to it first. So actually, these guys are adapted for a high fibre, low sugar diet. So actually even vegetables, even things like carrots, are too high in sugar for these guys. So lettuce isn't too bad, there's just not much nutrients in lettuce, it's quite watery. And again, cucumber, there's not really much in that either. So actually the best kind of diet to give these guys is a natural diet. So in the wild, they eat lots of different weeds. Now obviously someone mentioned grass, and that is a good answer because there's lots of different tortoise species that do eat grass as the main part of their diet. And a lot of them are the big ones like the sulcatas or the big Galapagos tortoises. But actually our Indian stars, they are grass-eating tortoises, they come from India, and that should be making up the main part of their diet.
How are these tortoises coming to you? Is somebody giving them to you?
Yeah, so all of our tortoises are expats. So it doesn't mean they've been mistreated, it just means that previous owners couldn't look after them and asked them to take them. So like these two, him and Mateo, we've had for many years. Shelley and Toby came together, they were kept as more outdoor tortoises. They came to us just over a year ago now, and then Olga came to us at the start of this year. And our Indian stars, for example, so they also expats. We've had them about 2 years now, and the woman came to us because she didn't want to sell them on, and then potentially them getting sold on to lots and lots of other people. They can be worth quite a bit of money. And this woman, she cared for them as best she could, but actually it was completely the wrong diet. So as they said, they're grass-eating tortoises. She fed them green beans, gem lettuce, I think cucumber, and something else, so or baby corn. So very, very strict diets, completely the wrong kind of food. She didn't know about UV light when they were young either, so UV comes from the sun in the wild. They need it to absorb the right nutrients from their food, to enable them to get calcium as well for the shell to grow properly. And unfortunately they weren't getting any of that. Although she loved these tortoises as much as she could, they unfortunately were not in the best of health. So a lot of the ways that you can tell how healthy a tortoise is by looking at their shell. So Rocco here, has he gone in? No, right there. So Rocco, he's got a pretty good shell. So he's got quite a nice smooth shell. There's no lumps or bumps all over it. So you can see his shell is made up of different sections, and these sections are called shoots. I'll pick them up just to show you guys. So you can see all these different sections, and they're almost like little rings. Now, if they have the wrong diet, the wrong humidity, the wrong temperatures, anything like that, these little sections start growing taller, and it's called pyramiding because it looks like lots and lots of little pyramids on their shell. Now, once they have these pyramids, they can't get rid of them. They are going to have them for the rest of their life. And all it is excess shell growth. So their shell is made up of keratin, the same stuff as our fingernails. And there's two issues with it. So firstly, all of that excess shell growth, that's a lot of excess weight. Now here you can see he can lift his shell up and stand on all four legs quite easily, moves around really, really well. Now if a tortoise has all this pyramiding, it gets really heavy and they can't physically lift their shell up anymore, so they end up dragging it along the floor. So it affects the mobility. Secondly, there is shell thickening on the inside as well, so it's going to put a lot of pressure on their internal organs, and that's going to mean their organs are going to have to work even harder just trying to keep them alive. So as I said, you can't get rid of it once they have it. There are some species that do naturally have some pyramiding in the wild, so one of those are the Indian stars, but actually our Indian stars have larger pyramids than what they have. So although they do have them naturally, it's still bigger and causes them issues. So Tamara, the biggest one, she can't lift her shell up, she ends up dragging it along the floor. So the best way obviously is to prevent it in the first place, so having the right diet, having a nice natural diet, having UV light, so UV to help digest their food and get the right nutrients from their food as well. Heating as well, so obviously these guys get access to this in the summer when it's nice and warm outside, but not all of our tortoises hibernate, so Rocco and Matteo, they haven't hibernated for years, it's their choice. It doesn't affect them in any way, it's just that's what they've been used to. So we still have UV, we still have heating, they still get food throughout the winter. So that is just normal for them, whereas Toby and Shelley have always hibernated because that's what they're used to, so they hibernated in this little house over winter. So as long as you look after the tortoises, obviously give him plenty of space. As you can see, he's quite active as well. He's also a bit of an escape artist. You might be wondering why we've got two lots of fences here. We started off with this back fence, and he can climb at this corner and get over the fence into the girls' area, and did it more than once. Now one thing with Rocco is he doesn't always make it when he tries to climb, and sometimes he ends up falling on his back. Now what do you think we should do if he's on his back? So hands up if you think we should pop him upright again. Okay, hands up if you think we should leave him. Okay, any other answers?
Let him try.
Let him try. Exactly. So, if Rocco's on his back, I don't want to pop him over straight away. Because in the wild, do you think if a tortoise ends up on its back, it's a death sentence? No. Because if that happened, we wouldn't really have any tortoises left. Now, these guys are quite clever. They do get themselves into trouble. It's the rain's fault a lot of the time. What he does is he rocks his shell back and forth. So he just uses those muscles trying to get a bit of momentum. And then once he's got enough, he gets his foot on the floor, he pushes off, and he flips himself back over. It might take a few tries, but he's pretty good at doing it because he gets himself into quite a lot of mischief. Now, if you're always to help your tortoise at home, if you're always trying to put it back on its feet, if you went to bed or if you went away for the day and the tortoise ended up on its back, that tortoise has lost that muscle strength in order for them to do it themselves. So that tortoise is then going to be stuck on its back. And you're not there to help it put it back on its feet again. So ideally, especially from a young age, you should let them try as much as possible, build up that muscle, build up that skill as well, so they can actually flip themselves back over and do it themselves. Obviously, you don't want to leave them too long on their back. If they can't do it, they can't do it, and they sometimes might need a helping hand. But obviously, try and let them do it and let them build those muscle strengths up again. Well, thank you guys for listening. If anyone's got any questions at all, do ask. Our final thing for today is our monkey feed at 3 o'clock, which will be over near our capuchin and spider monkeys. But thank you guys for listening. Enjoy the rest of